Have you ever been haunted by a question that just won't go away? You find yourself staring at your phone, scrolling through old messages, wondering why the person you care about has suddenly disappeared into silence. They used to be so close, so present in your life, so attentive. Now there's nothing. No call, no text, just a strange emptiness where their presence used to be. It's as if a door was quietly closed, and you're left on the outside, replaying every moment, every conversation, searching for clues. Why do people do this? Why do they pull away, even when it feels like the bond between you was real? Did you say the wrong thing? Did you become too much? Or was it never about you at all? You begin to doubt yourself. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? The more you search for answers, the more the silence becomes deafening. And somewhere deep inside, you feel the ache of abandonment, the sting of not being chosen. But what if the real answer has nothing to do with your worth, and everything to do with the secret, invisible world inside each of us? Let's walk into the depths together and see what the silence is truly saying. It's easy to assume that people's actions are straightforward. If someone cares, they call. If they don't, they move on. But reality, especially in matters of the heart, is rarely that simple. Behind every silence, behind every person who thinks of you but never reaches out, is a battle that you cannot see. We're taught to trust what we see on the surface, but human beings are shaped by invisible forces. Buried memories, old wounds, fears that never found a voice, dreams that were never given permission to live. Carl Jung described this world as the unconscious, a vast, mysterious ocean beneath our conscious mind. It's here that the real reasons for distance are hidden. Someone may be replaying every moment with you in their mind, feeling the same ache, but unable to act. Because love doesn't just awaken desire, it awakens fear. Sometimes, being close to someone makes us confront parts of ourselves we've spent years hiding. For some, loving you means facing the shadow inside themselves, and not everyone is ready for that confrontation. This is why distance can be a form of protection, not only from you, but from the pain inside themselves. The heart longs for connection, but the mind, scarred by the past, urges caution. So they think of you, miss you, maybe even love you, but they don't call. Jung's concept of the shadow is essential to understanding why someone keeps their distance, even while holding you in their thoughts. The shadow is the collection of all the things we refuse to see about ourselves. Insecurities, fears, unhealed wounds, the pain we push down so deeply that we almost forget it's there. Yet, when two souls truly connect, the shadow cannot stay hidden. The closer you get, the more the shadow stirs. Sometimes, your kindness, your attention, your very presence can awaken a vulnerability that the other person has tried so hard to bury. It's not your fault. Your love becomes a mirror, reflecting not only their beauty, but the cracks, the fractures, the pain they aren't ready to face. Imagine loving someone who sees your care as dangerous, not because you meant harm, but because your honesty is overwhelming. You may never see this struggle on the surface. On the outside, they become cold, distant, or silent. But inside, there is chaos. To stay means risking exposure. To leave means living with regret. The shadow creates a tension that becomes unbearable, and so, distance feels like the only escape. One of Jung's most profound observations was about projection. We see in others the qualities, fears, and desires we refuse to accept in ourselves. In relationships, this plays out every day. The person who blames you for being too emotional might be hiding their own vulnerability. The one who runs away from intimacy might be terrified of being abandoned. The one who becomes silent when you get close might be afraid of losing control. You may find yourself on the receiving end of accusations, sudden coldness, or unexplained silence. If so, you're likely the mirror for someone else's inner conflict. This is why loving someone deeply often means becoming the trigger for their old pain. You represent the tenderness they once rejected or the closeness that once brought them pain. To them, loving you means facing a storm inside themselves, one they aren't ready to weather. It's important to remember, distance is rarely about your flaws. It's a reflection of the other person's struggle to accept their own shadow. And sometimes, love feels too dangerous, not because it's wrong, but because it's real. Silence is powerful. It's the space where meaning hides, where stories get twisted, and where we often hurt ourselves the most. When someone who once cared suddenly goes quiet, it's easy to interpret their absence as rejection. But Jung would say, their silence is not a statement about your worth. It's a symptom of their own journey, a sign that they're facing something inside themselves they can't yet name. People often go silent not because they don't care, but because caring brings up emotions they haven't learned how to handle. For some, the weight of love is unbearable because deep down, they don't feel worthy of it. For others, love triggers old fears of loss, abandonment, or disappointment. So they pull away. They retreat into themselves, thinking it's safer to remain alone than to risk being hurt. And in doing so, they leave you in the dark, wondering what went wrong. But here's the truth. Their silence is about their fears, not your failures. You cannot force someone to face their wounds before they are ready. The most important thing you can do is not to chase after them, but to listen to what this moment is teaching you about yourself. Every unanswered call, every moment of longing, is a chance to look deeper, not at the other person, but at yourself. Why do we ache for someone to return? What do we believe they can give us that we can't give ourselves? What emptiness are we hoping another person will fill? Jung believed that the journey to wholeness, what he called individuation, begins when we turn inward. When you stop searching for completion in someone else, and start searching for it within. It's natural to want validation, love, and attention. But when your sense of self becomes tied to someone else's actions, you give away your power. Ask yourself, what am I learning from this silence? What is this pain showing me about my own needs, my own hopes, my own worth? The absence you feel is not only about the other person. It's about your relationship with yourself. There comes a moment in every painful relationship when you have to decide. Will you keep waiting to be chosen, or will you finally choose yourself? It's not easy. We're conditioned to believe that love is something we earn through sacrifice, patience, or suffering. But authentic love doesn't require you to wait by the phone, to prove your value, or to chase after someone who is running away from their own fears. True love begins with you, with your decision to honor your own needs, your own growth, your own healing. Jung wrote, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. When you choose yourself, you break the cycle of longing and disappointment. You stop looking for love in places that are empty. You become the source of your own light, and in doing so, you become magnetic, not for those who need to be rescued, but for those who are ready to walk beside you. Self-acceptance isn't selfish. It's the foundation for every relationship you'll ever have. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or giving up on love. It means having the courage to accept that you cannot heal another person's wounds for them. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do is to walk away. From waiting, from hoping, from trying to change what you cannot control. Many people stay stuck in relationships defined by silence and absence, hoping that if they just try harder, love will finally be enough to break through the other person's walls. But Jung teaches us that healing is a personal journey. No one can force you to face your shadow, and you cannot force someone else to face theirs. Release the idea that you must earn someone's affection or wait endlessly for them to choose you. Your worth is not dependent on another person's attention. When you let go, you make space for something new, new growth, new connections, new possibilities. And you send a powerful message to yourself. I am enough, even if no one calls. I am worthy, even if I stand alone. Solitude is not punishment. It is the soil where transformation takes root. When you stop chasing after those who won't or can't meet you, you free yourself to become the person you were always meant to be. Use the silence to rediscover your own voice, your own dreams, your own passions. Ask yourself what you truly want, not from others, but from your own life. Jung believed that every wound is an invitation to grow. The pain of absence, the ache of longing, is not a sign that you are broken. It is a doorway to deeper self-understanding. In solitude, you can heal the old stories, the belief that you must be chosen to have value, the fear that you are unlovable unless someone stays. When you find peace within yourself, you stop searching for validation from the outside world. And paradoxically, this is when real, lasting connections begin to form, because you are no longer looking for someone to complete you. You are looking for someone who will walk beside you as equals, as whole people. This is your invitation, to step out of the shadow of longing and into the light of your own becoming. You don't need to wait for someone else's call to know you are loved. You don't need another person's presence to feel complete. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Let this be your journey. Let the silence of others teach you the music of your own heart. Let every unanswered message, every unreturned call, remind you that your worth is not found in someone else's hands. Choose yourself every day. Nurture your own dreams. Stand tall in your truth. Because when you finally love yourself, not in theory, but in practice, you attract people who recognize and respect that wholeness. You no longer settle for crumbs or chase after ghosts. You create relationships based on freedom, mutual growth, and authentic connection. So if someone out there is thinking of you but never calls, let it go with love. Not because you're giving up, but because you're waking up. Waking up to your own strength, your own worth, your own light. And when you choose yourself first, you open the door to a new kind of love. One that doesn't just survive the silence, but transforms because of it.